Hi, I'm Kristen Griego with Edwards Instrument Company, and today I'm joined by Jemmie Robertson.
Hello.
And Jemmie Robertson, if those of you that don't know, he is an associate, I always get titles wrong, I mess them up.
Associate professor.
Associate professor at University of Florida in Gainesville, Florida. Now, it's always, I don't know why I struggle with that. It's just my thing. So thanks for being here with us today. Today we wanted to talk to you a little bit about your career, where you've been, what you've done, where we're headed. And so, yeah, first off, thanks for being here. Appreciate it.
Pleasure to be here. And thanks for having me in. It's been a great couple days. Really enjoyed working on testing some equipment yesterday and getting me all set up and going. And my horn is playing better than ever. It feels fantastic.
So, Jemmie, the last time he was here was 9 years ago, right?
I believe I've maybe been here maybe 6 or 7 years ago, but not since I moved to Florida. So it's been a minute.
So how often do you think people should visit Edwards or a pro-in to adjust their equipment?
Definitely more often than I've been able to be here recently. I'd say every couple years if you can, and it's been great for me. For about 15 years earlier in my career, I was in close proximity to Edwards, where I could very easily get up here when I was at Eastern Illinois University in Augustana College. And that was fantastic. I'd come up here regularly, but since I moved to Florida, and then there was that little pandemic thing, and I've been traveling a lot internationally, it's just been a minute since I've been here to Wisconsin, but it's a beautiful time of year to be up here, so I'm glad I'm back.
Now, talking about equipment changes, what did we find yesterday?
Well, what we adjusted primarily with my horn is I've been on a T396 for about 8-9 years, and have loved playing the instrument, but I had some like little things going on with my valve recently, and as soon as I brought the horn in, they diagnosed what was going on and got that up and running. And then we also made some adjustments to my lead pipe, because as you know, on the T396 originally, those were soldered into the horn. They were,
Yep.
yeah, and so now it's a little bit more of a modular design, in the sense that we replaced it with their newly tooled
lead pipes.
sterling silver lead pipe, and it feels fantastic.
Yeah, we upgraded the interface essentially between the mouthpiece and the lead pipe, made some new tooling, and the way we're capturing the mouthpiece really affects the response and the blow and the feel in the mid-low, to where it's just rock solid. Before, when I played your instrument, when you brought it in, it felt like it was on ice skates, and it was just a little wobbly and shaky. And then going to the new lead pipe, and then getting we checked the rotor. We were able to get that the way it blows the best, and just do a few small tweaks, and all of a sudden, stability,
Yes.
and the natural sound, and your color is back.
Yeah, a lot more comfortable. And so it's amazing how, when we travel and play a lot as professionals, even though nothing specific might happen to my horn in terms of its, like no specific injury or damage. It's not like a particular airline got a hold of it and decided to use it as a luggage toss contest. But just little things can creep in over a long period of use. And so, but this lead pipe change has really affected the feel for me in a very positive way. In fact, even though I was always happy with the low range on this horn, I feel like it's better than ever. It feels like my T350 that I played back in the 90s, just in terms of having that really solid, rich, easily responding sound down in that register. So now I feel like I have the best of both worlds, in that I have the ease and clarity and ability to float up in the mid and upper register, but I also have that power down there and immediacy in the low register, which I never felt like I really had until now on that T396.
Well, thanks for coming up and working on these things, because I think we evolve and we change physically, and we change as musicians, and our concepts and our color concepts will change. And that's why I think it's really important that people assess their instruments every 2 to 3 years. I think is a good, I have people sometimes once a year that will come and visit, but I think every 2 to 3 years is a good time to assess your mouthpiece choice, your lead pipe, and you may come back to the realization that what I was on is the best. But then and you can sleep better at night, knowing that what you're on is the best possible.
Yeah, it's true. And I mean, over 24 years, you've heard me regularly as my career has evolved and my playing has changed from 99, when we first met at the Leslie seminar in Nyack, and shortly thereafter I came here and got fit on my horn, and got that new horn that I still have since then. We've made some particular updates to that. Eventually, you know, refinished my Thayer on that horn, and so it's largely the same horn that I've had there since '99. But on the T396, which I got in 2015, it's always just felt so comfortable and easy. But my playing has changed. My approach has changed. You know, earlier in my career, I was, you know, very gung-ho orchestral approach, probably playing bigger than I needed to, at least, you know, for me. But now at this stage of my career where I play a lot of chamber music, I play a lot of solo recitals, I still play orchestra rep, but I'm not maybe approaching it with quite the same vigor in my approach to orchestral excerpts and the way I play. I feel like I have hopefully a more refined and sensitive and listening approach rather than just like really pounding through excerpts. And so I'm on a little bit different, more equipment, because the repertoire that I play, a lot of the solo stuff requires a lot of flexibility and different tone colors and stuff like that. And so I feel like my horn really allows me to do that and play with a lot of subtlety, and I enjoy that.
So talking about solo and versus orchestral, and that's a big topic right there, but I'd like to talk a little bit about your recording that you just recently did. Was it in 2022 that this came out?
Yeah, it came out at the beginning of last year, recorded it in May of 2021, and the physical disc was released in maybe November of 21, and then it went live on all the streamers and all the digital
platforms out there,
in early 2022. But I really enjoy the process of recording solo recordings. This is my 4th solo recording, and I've also done some chamber music things like with the American Trombone Quartet.
So where can everyone buy your recordings at?
Boy, this recording is available from Mark Custom Records,
which is Red Dragonfly.
Yeah, and Red Dragonfly was a great, rewarding project to take on. It features all music of women composers, and it was very interesting how this project evolved, because for me, I've always wanted to champion works that are maybe lesser played. Like when I recorded my first solo album in 2006, one of the things I wanted to consciously try to do was not maybe record all the same repertoire that Christian Lindberg and Joe Alessi and had recorded, because there's been a great amount of solo recording over the past 30 years that's been done, and fantastic how much we have out there to listen to the development of artists and our art form. But I wanted to, by and large, champion newer works. So this work, the title work on the album, Red Dragonfly, is Amy Reeves-Mill's concerto, which she originally wrote in 2013, and Megumi Kondo premiered at ITF. So I happened to be in the audience for that, and I just remembered how capturing that piece was. And then fast forward about 5 years in 2019. So yeah, during ATW in 2019, Brian Hecht premiered with the U.S. Army Orchestra a new concerto that Amy Reeves-Mills had written, and it was premiered there. And so I got to meet Amy afterwards, and we started talking, and I brought up Red Dragonfly and how much I enjoyed the piece, and asked if she would be interested in creating a concerto version of it with orchestra. And she said, well, actually, when I composed that piece, I wanted it to be with orchestra, but the commission was for trombone and piano for Megumi's solo recital at ITF. But I composed the whole thing with orchestral colors in mind, so I would love to orchestrate it. So I got to work, put together a commissioning consortium of other artists and who were very interested in playing the piece, and we got that done. And so Megumi premiered that orchestration at the 2022 ITF.
What I find most of the time when people are like, oh, how do you get something composed? How do you ask questions? You find somebody whose music you appreciate, you enjoy, and you feel connected to, and you talk to the composer. All they can say is no. Generally, you're going to hire them, or you're going to join a consortium of people to make a work happen. But if you don't ask questions, if you never start that conversation, nothing will always guaranteed happen. And so it's always important to just ask questions and push forward in music, because we need new works. We need people to hear new colors and new sounds. And I'm very passionate about that.
Yeah.
And the one thing I wasn't passionate about, and I want to talk to you a little bit about, is when I was growing up, I wasn't the most studious student. Why? Because I loved two things. I loved playing soccer and I loved trombone. All I did was play soccer and trombone. And my grades suffered because of that. And I didn't realize that it mattered until yesterday. And not just yesterday, but a lot of times when professors visit and they talk about the standards of the higher universities out there, they're so strict. And yesterday you made a point that there were 60,000 applicants to Florida.
Yeah. And so Florida, since I started teaching there in 2018, there's been a big push from the state of Florida, the Board of Regents and everything. They really wanted to grow the profile of the university, which was already quite substantial. It's a major research one institution, but the university has grown to be quite large. It's 55,000 students.
Wow.
Yeah.
It's bigger than my hometown of Clovis.
Yeah, it is in itself a large community.
Yeah.
And but
of those 60,000, I'm sorry, how many were taken?
Well, I believe that there were 65,000 applicants for the admission as first-time freshmen for the fall 2023 class. I would need to look up the exact numbers, but I'm on the faculty senate and they were presented to us, so I think I'm remembering the ballpark. But they only admit like 5,500 students. So your academics have to be quite good to get in, and also good participation in different activities, being an active student, and also, though they're less emphasized now than they used to be, doing well on ACT and SAT and things like that. So the great thing about the University of Florida is having those bright, highly accomplished students who are there, and they're also driven on the trombone, so they're marrying together those academic interests as well as the study of trombone, which I would also argue is an academic interest. But just within the academy, sometimes we can separate out, like the act of playing an instrument from like studying various coursework, but it's all geared towards them becoming the greatest artists they can be, and also pursuing a variety of different degrees. But what is too bad is when I have a very talented student who wants to come to the University of Florida, but maybe sometime in their high school career they didn't pay as much close attention to their academics as they would like. And I honestly have to say that I would have not cleared the admission bar to get into the University of Florida or a like-minded institution, but I went just well enough that I was able to go out of state I grew up in Montana for undergraduate school. I went to the University of Northern Colorado for my undergraduate, and then after that I was able to go to Yale for my master's and Northwestern for my doctorate. So I did just well enough with my studies, but I found that for me personally, I really thrived when I got to college. But if I could go back in time, and if I had a DeLorean and could go back and counsel myself, I would encourage myself to apply myself more broadly, because similar to Kristen here, when I was in high school, I was really into skiing, soccer, baseball, and playing trombone. And not so much into applying myself in
Yeah, and so it's very important. It's very important. So, and I want to stress that now, because as I've learned, talking to professors, and you need to do these small things to separate yourself from other people.
That's right.
Even in high school, so that when it comes time for college, you're ready for those things. So what's the biggest piece of advice you find yourself constantly giving a young musician?
A young musician, I would highly recommend that they seek out a quality teacher in their area. So yeah, it's important to participate in your high school band or orchestra program and to be very active as a player, but I think that one-on-one relationship you're going to get from a mentor while you're in high school, junior high, where someone who will give you a lot of the pedagogical knowledge you need about fundamentals and great advice about repertoire, because not infrequently do I encounter students who they've done all the all-state and solo and ensemble festivals and stuff like that, but they've missed that piece of one-on-one instruction. So there might be very talented students, but they come playing in their senior year of high school the Peaslee Arrows of Time, and maybe they just weren't quite ready for that piece. And other pieces like that where they're talented and have range and can do a lot of things, but they're missing certain pieces and maybe working too hard. That's something I'm continually working on. Relaxation and just perseverance of fundamentals so that my musicianship can come through in an easy manner. But if I don't have that information and I'm playing something very difficult, then my playing can suffer. And so I would just encourage you to seek out a great teacher in your area, someone who can mentor you and help you along to the next level.
So if somebody wants to find your recordings,
Sure.
and more about you and your studio, where can they find that at?
All right. Well, you can seek me out on the University of Florida faculty website. So I teach in the School of Music at the University of Florida, and my whole bio is up there, and everything. And also regarding the albums, my 4 solo albums, they're available as physical CDs that you could find from the record labels that they're released under, whether it's MSR Classics for my first recording, or like, for example, this recording, Mark Custom recording service. But they're also on all those streaming services out there, Apple Music, Spotify. I've been very fortunate in my career where all my solo albums that I've recorded have been funded through grant applications. And so that's offered me not only the opportunity as an artist to take on these projects and record repertoire that I've wanted to do, but also the financial means to make it happen without me dipping potentially tens of thousands of dollars into debt to record this a passion project,
right,
which, let's be honest, can be hard to recoup expenses from.
Absolutely.
I feel like I've done well selling physical copies of CDs, maybe now a little bit less than in the past because everything has definitely gone in the direction of streaming. But going out and doing recital tours and stuff like that, people are still eager to discover new works and to listen to things. And so people do still buy CDs. In fact, the reason that this is a physical release on a CD is because I still like having the physical thing to hold to, that feeling of having accomplished something, and having the booklet to read, and to be able to like really dig into the history of this composition and more about the artist's reasons for why they did this piece and stuff like. So I love still purchasing physical copies of stuff, whether it's vinyl or CDs.
I'm the same way. I'm old school, and I stream absolutely. When I'm in the car, truck, it's just, and I'm trying to find new music, and then I will then go and buy the physical vinyl album and then listen to it on a turntable as quick as I can. So, Jemmie, thanks for being here with us. We really appreciate you playing our instruments for 24 years. I can't believe it's been 24 years, but we really appreciate that. The fact you made the trip, and I'm excited to hear the next recording and see what happens there.
Thank you so much.
We'll see you around.